It is crazy to think that the team with everyone's favorite young player, Anthony Edwards, is the most hated in the NBA. Don't believe me? This summer alone, the Wolves have caught more strays than anyone. And it ain't just Rudy Gobert. Ant himself has now pissed off everyone. But the worst comment is about the team itself. Last year, they made the conference finals, sweeping the Suns, beating the defending champ Nuggets. But oh no, that is not good enough for NBA experts.
Minnesota, I think, will regress.
Oh, you're giving them the will regress.
They will regress. They got lucky last year. Everything worked out for them. They let the Joker down last year because he had to play the whole game against those two big 7-footers.
Yeah.
And he just got worn down.
He just said the Timberwolves got lucky last year. And Chuck's not alone. A ton of people feel Minnesota is not legit. Their players are overrated, and last season was a fluke. So Anthony Edwards comes out, and it wasn't good. But we've got to start with Rudy Gobert because he has gotten more hate than anyone, obviously. I am from Houston, Texas, which is an underrated city for food. Everyone thinks, oh, New York, Chicago. H-Town is one of the best food cities in the world, and that is where My Fit Foods was born. And you can tell because their meals are delicious, they're healthy, they're convenient. I just pop it in my microwave 2 minutes later, my favorite meals of the week. And by the way, variety. They have over 40 meals to choose from with new options cycling in all the time. It's how I eat healthy and stay fit with my busy schedule, and it's affordable, but even more because with my promo code AMHOOPS30, you get 30% off. They're available in Houston, like I said, but any of these cities in Texas as well. You got New Orleans, you got Portland, you got Denver. They also have overnight shipping. So again, give My Fit Foods a try, help out the channel, get great meals, code AMHOOPS30. In a random interview, Shaq cannot help himself.
Woke NBA player.
Rudy Gobert.
Oh my God, I knew he was gonna say Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
Oh my God. And that's not all. In front of a basketball camp, Derek Lively was asked, hey, do players get minutes just based on their salary? And he was like, yeah, look at Rudy Gobert. Like, dude should not be on the court, but he is. Now, Derek was just feet away when Luka buried a game winner over Gobert in the playoffs, and known Rudy haters like Draymond and Shaq loved it. But what did Gobert do to deserve this? You would think that he is out here like boasting and bragging that, oh, I'm better than Shaq, or I could shut down prime Michael Jordan, and he needs to be humbled. But no, like Gobert's just going out there playing ball and getting paid. He was drafted as a late first-round pick, and nobody thought he would be this good, but he made himself into a max player and a 4-time defensive player of the year. Isn't that awesome? Apparently not. They hate him because all of those awards and that money make it look like he is one of the best ever. But people don't respect his game. Like, shouldn't a max player be above average on offense? Rudy fumbles almost as many times as he actually dunks a lot. He's gotten smoked in the playoffs by Luka or Terrence Mann a few years ago, so guys look at that and be like, I could beat this guy one-on-one. Why is he getting paid that? Like, players respect one-on-one guys like Kyrie Irving, who has one-of-one handles. So when the Athletic asked players anonymously, who's the most overrated guy in the NBA, Rudy Gobert wins in a landslide. They are jealous of his contract and his awards. They think that should be me. So any team with Rudy Gobert is gonna get clowned, but Anthony Edwards is not helping. In a recent interview with the Wall Street Journal, he said, they say it was tougher back in the day than it is now, but I don't think anybody had skill back then. Michael Jordan was the only one who really had skill, you know what I mean? So that's why when they saw Kobe, they were like, oh my God. But now everyone has skill. Which means that MJ only stood out because his era was garbage. Like, if Jordan played today, he'd just be another skilled player. Everyone's got skill. Oh, that's not what he meant? He's just 22 years old. He didn't mean that. What else could he possibly mean? Ant is trying to compliment this current age of guys by tearing down the old guys. How's that gonna go over? Well, Paul George called it immature. DeMar DeRozan said he would never denigrate the OGs. Ant doesn't know basketball. But the coldest response was from Magic Johnson.
I don't never respond to a guy that's never won a championship. There's not nothing to really say? He didn't win a college championship. I don't know if he even won a high school championship.
Wow. Now Magic goes on to say, oh, I love Ant, I love his smile, I love his game, but he's wrong. Skill just looked different back in the day. It evolves. Like Hakeem Olajuwon's footwork is still studied by big men today. Magic's court vision was maybe the best of all time. Larry Bird, the definition of clutch, and Kareem's skyhook has never been repeated. But this is dangerous because everyone loves Ant today, but that could change in a second. People can't wait to tear down the star that's up and coming. Like, look at Luka Doncic. First, everyone was so excited that he was this good. Oh, he's the next James Harden. Oh, he's Larry Bird. Then as soon as he doesn't win, they are tearing dude down about how he's out of shape, how he doesn't play defense, how he complains too much, which is all true, by the way. Or about Zion, like the biggest young star one day, and the next day, the biggest punchline. It happens to every young star. They will build them up just to tear them down. So if Ant isn't careful, people will start to point out his flaws instead of celebrating what makes him great. Just like Karl Anthony Towns, he has gone through this. Now they cannot wait to see him traded. Cat's max extension kicks in this year. And if he and the Wolves take a step back, Cat will absolutely get shopped to avoid the tax and improve roster flexibility. But was last year a fluke? Like, did they get lucky, as Charles Barkley thinks? Or is Minnesota legit? Well, this offseason, they lost Kyle Anderson, Monte Morris, and Jordan McLaughlin. They added Joe Ingles and 2 rookies in the draft. The front office guy, Tim Connolly, knew that there was no money for free agents, but they had to upgrade. All they had was the 27th pick. So he traded up with the Spurs to get Rob Dillingham at 8 for a first rounder in 2030 and a top 1 protected 2031 swap. Dillingham is a backup plan for Mike Conley, who's getting older at point guard. So they need these 2 rookies for depth, and they're absolutely going to try to develop them in the regular season, which could lead to a couple more losses. But right now, the only thing that matters is the playoff. Ant gets the headlines for sure, but the Wolves' secret is defense. Last year, they had the #1 D in the regular season. Season before that, in a down year, was still top 10, so they will absolutely be good again on defense. But what about the offense? Do the Wolves have enough scoring behind Anthony Edwards? Well, last year, the Wolves ranked 17th on offense. Celtics, Pacers, and Thunder were 1, 2, and 3. But Minnesota below the Lakers and Cavs, just above the tanking Jazz? That ain't good enough. We have not had a champion that bad on offense since the Detroit Pistons in 2004. Now in the playoffs, guys did step up around Ant in the first 2 rounds, but against the Mavericks, they slowed down and Edwards got tired from having to carry the offense. It is a huge question mark, which is why they traded for Rob Dillingham. Dude is one of the most talented offensive prospects in the game. The Spurs let him go because Rob's just 6'1", which is death on defense. But the Wolves don't care about that. They have a great defense. They can make up for the fact that Rob is a small guard, but he can score at all 3 levels and was a walking highlight at Kentucky. He dropped 15 points with 3 boards and 4 dimes a night, but an insane 44% from 3. He will play next to Ant with an NBA-ready handle, and if they get lucky, Dillingham can have an instant impact as a rookie, like Jaime Jaquez last year or Christian Brown was in the playoffs year before that for Denver. But the good thing about all of this is the Wolves are finally relevant enough to get all this hate. I mean, they were in basketball hell for like 20 years. Right now, no one's talking about the Pistons or the Hornets or the Blazers. This is what the Timberwolves want. Remember what it was like for Giannis and Jokic before they won their titles? Everybody clowned on them for winning MVP, looked at their flaws. Then they broke through. So Minnesota has to prove people wrong in a really deep West next year. But somebody is going to take a step back. Only 8 teams are going to make the playoffs. That is why we are sure a big NBA trade is about to happen. Some team is about to disappoint and panic, either trade their star or make a dumb trade to get a big star. Either way, I put together the top 10 most likely big trades that we could see next.